Okay, so
You're on the
Dean,
spot.
why don't you introduce Kenya, and Kenya, you can tell us a little bit about your story too. Yeah.
Kenya Robinson. Yay.
Hi.
Kenya is the owner of a Jazzercise. She had a stroke in 2019, paralyzed her right side. She is an amazing story of a road to recovery using all of these modalities. She hasn't stopped at one modality. She continues to reach out. And what she's doing currently, she used physical therapy. Acupuncture was one of the first therapies that actually helped her start her healing path. She used a chiropractor, and now she's with me. And combining all three of those together has changed her life. We have her walking on curbs to balance, to create more balance. We have her, I don't know, standing on one foot, we have her just doing all kinds of balance drills. And it's really amazing to watch the recovery, the strength. One of the things I will say for sure is she has the inner drive. She has the will she wants to recover. She wants to figure this out. She wants to move on. She wants to. And without that desire, none of this happens. It's a struggle to heal. And so I'm going to let Kenya tell us her story.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So at 44, I was a crazy woman. At the time, we lived in Lake Elsinore. My businesses were in Corona. My kids' schools were in Corona. And my husband worked in Riverside. And I remember the Sunday before the stroke, we went out to dinner with my sister. And I just remember feeling so tired. And that night I told my husband, I'm living moment to moment, just putting out fires. I can't think about tomorrow because I will cry. And this week is totally crazy, but if I can get to Friday, can we please talk about changing things? Can we change up my routine, the kids' activities? Can we just do something, because you're not supposed to live life like this? And he goes, okay, you sure you want to wait till Friday? I'm sure I want to wait till Friday. So the stroke happened, that was on Sunday. The stroke happened on Tuesday, on the morning of Tuesday morning. We typically left the house around 6:15 to 6:20. 3 kids, 3 different schools, 2 in high school, 1 in middle school. On this day, my daughter drove. We had it so that she drives on the days that I need her to help out. And I went to put my hand on the doorknob to take us out to the garage, and I'm turning it, and I hear today's gonna be different. As close as Dean and Dr. Chiriano are sitting next to me, I heard today's gonna be different. And I thought, Ian, this morning in the car, you're praying. You're the prayer warrior. So we get in the car, call sister. I'm following her down the freeway because she's headed to school. And I'm thinking, okay, let's go through what everybody has to do. Ian's got basketball practice, Isaiah's got a group project, and Monty's after school because she tutored middle schoolers in math. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. Go to work, and 11 o'clock, get a text from Ian's coach. Basketball practice is canceled. Yes, one less thing I have to do tonight. Isaiah calls around lunchtime. 2 of the kids one kid has a doctor's appointment, another one's sick. They're not having the group project, and I'm happy about that. So I call Imani and I say, hey, your brother's things have canceled. When you get out of school, come straight to the office. She goes, that's funny. I just got a call that I don't have to tutor tonight. And I said, great, meet us at the office. You can take your brothers home. That way they don't have to stay in town, because usually with after school activities, we don't get home till 8 o'clock after I teach Jazzercise. So she comes to the office, I get the boys after school. My boys are bickering, which is odd because they're really close. And I go, you know what, it's been a crazy day. Why don't we go out for a fun snack? Then you'll go with sister. You guys can go home, do homework, enjoy the rest of the evening. It's not a late day for you. So we go to Wiener Schnitzel. They get nacho fries. Daughter gets ice cream. I get a hot dog. We're having fun. I put them in her car. They're off. I leave Wiener Central, my husband calls. Hey, I was just thinking about that conversation we had on Sunday, and I wanted to tell you, thank you for working so hard for our family. Let's get to Friday, we'll change up what we do. I go, hey, that's nice, thanks. Go back to the office, I'm getting ready for jazzercise, pack up, put my hand on the doorknob, and I hear again, today's gonna be different. I go, wait a minute, I've heard this twice today. I'm gonna take a moment, say a little prayer, and tonight when I get home, I'm gonna remember this exact moment so that when I put my head down on the pillow, I'll know I made it through this day. Open the door, proceed to leave. Jazzercise is de-stress time. That's the time when we get funky, we get crazy. It's kind of like an experience. I'm not giving directions, I'm talking to the class. They're responding back to me. We're having cardio, we're going from that warm up to the top where our heart rates are at their peak, and then we're coming on down that mountain. I tell them grab their weights. We're about to start the strength portion. I'm talking, all of a sudden, the weight that I have in my right hand drops to the floor, and I'm concerned because usually if you feel like something's gonna fall, you react to save it before it happens, but there was no connection with my hand dropping that weight. I figure leave it. You're still talking to class, still cute. They were going great. Then I go to lift my leg and I'm off balance and I can't seem to get my balance. And I see one of my customers move over to her purse and I tell the class, we're not stopping. I'm gonna back up against this wall. Come on, legs up, tricep kick back, your face to the right. And meanwhile, I'm like, why are they looking at me like I'm crazy? So I'm still cueing them, and every move, every person is doing correctly. And I'm almost feeling like they're wanting to do things right, because if they're right, then I'll be all right. But I'm just tired, I'm okay. So I figure I need to stop. And we're gonna finish the song, and we do. And then I say, we've got 3 more routines, but I can't. I'm gonna sit down and just take a moment. And then I just saw the class rush the stage, and everybody's praying, everybody's just covering me in prayer. And I see Andrea come over. She's the one who went to her purse, and she's got 911 on the phone, and she's asking me to stick out my tongue, and I'm telling her no. Because if I stick out my tongue wrong, that means something's wrong, and I don't want anything to be wrong. And then she tells me to smile, and I tell her no, I'm not gonna smile because I don't want anything to be wrong. And then it gets hazy after that. I don't remember the paramedics coming in, but I do remember getting in the ambulance. I remember one of my jazzercise customers following the ambulance so close that the paramedics thought she was gonna hit them. And that was funny. And then it's hazy. I missed a $38,000 helicopter ride to Temecula Valley Hospital that I don't remember. And then I wake up and my dad is sitting to the left of my bed, and I'm thinking, if my dad's here, I must really be in trouble. This has gotta be bad. And I just start bawling. The next morning, the doctor comes in and he's talking, but what he's saying is not clear. And then he says, so I think we're gonna hold off from doing brain surgery right now. And I go, who's he talking to? Must be the person in the other bed. That sounds bad. Let me give her a sympathy look. And I look over and there's nobody else in the room but me. And he goes, do you know what happened? And I said, no. He says, you had a hemorrhagic stroke. Part of your brain has been destroyed. We're gonna hold off from surgery because we think we can control the bleed. Right now you're okay, and with a lot of hard work, you should recover about 70%. And I'm looking at him like, how do you know that? And then I just get angry because I'm like, how do you predict that someone's gonna come back and be 70%? All right, Lord, let's show him. Next thing I remember, I think it was the next day because that happened on the stroke happened on the 1st. My kids came to the hospital on October 3rd, and I just remember seeing fear in their eyes, and it's my youngest son's birthday on that day. And I'm sad because the last place I want him to be is in the hospital with me. We should be somewhere celebrating him. It's his day. And I tell the kids, I'm gonna curse. And they're looking at me like, what? And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna curse. And my speech is slurred, and I'm telling them, this looks bad right now, but Mom is gonna beat this. I'm gonna kick this illness's ass. And they start cracking up laughing because they're like, Mom, you don't know how to curse. So I'm discharged on the 6th day. I can overhear conversations about going to rehab. I don't know what rehab is. I think I'm going to a nursing center, that they're putting me away in a nursing center. And my husband explains, this is where you get to go and learn how to do life in a wheelchair, because I'm paralyzed at that time. We'll figure out how you function, because left side works, right side doesn't. We get to rehabilitation, and I had the best team. They took none of my crap. They made me work. And what was more, I wanted to do the work. And my birthday's October 20th. I told them October 19th, I want to be discharged. I'm going to be successful to be out of here by October 19th. And October 19th, I was out of there. On October 20th, I sat in a wheelchair at a restaurant celebrating my 45th birthday. So we get to outpatient, and then I'm discharged from outpatient in May, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, what do I do next? I know jazzercise. I'll return to teaching classes, but it'll be modified, and I'll only teach strength classes so that I'm working on still rehabbing this side and getting stronger. By December of 2020, the neuropathy is kicking my butt. I wear tennis shoes because I'm not allowed to wear heels anymore, and I figure if I have to wear tennis shoes, I'm gonna be cute at it, doggone it. But in just dealing with the foot, I'm like, there's gotta be another way. So I find Dr. Chris, who is a chiropractor, and within the first 45 minutes, he has reintroduced some feeling to my foot. So we work, and he goes, I've gone as far as I can go. You've got to meet Dean Dexter. I go, okay, have him give me a call. Dean calls me that night, and I'll never forget, because I always feel like I'm speaking gibberish when I explain what's going on. He speaks my language. He speaks gibberish too. So we're going back and forth, and I'm like, yeah, I've got cloudiness in my foot. And he's like, all right, well, you bring your cloudiness. And day one, we worked. He said, you've got to get your balance. So he teaches me this thing where I'm supposed to put my heel down, come up on the toe, and bring my heel up on the backside and put my heel forward, and just to kind of figure out what that balance is. And he goes, we just got to do the repetition. You've got to do it over and over again, because with stroke, you've got to build repetition to about 3,000 to 5,000 times. So I'm at the gas station, 4,001, 4,002, we got to get to 5,000. And I come back and I tell Dean, I'm on 4,398 steps. We're almost at 5,000. He goes, Kenya, I did not mean for you to count it literally. But I'm that kind of patient. So I tell him I want to run. And if any of you have been to Dean's office, there is a steep incline. And he goes, you're going to run up that hill. And I go, are you nuts? And he goes, nope, start with the skip. And I'm like, have you seen my skip? It looks bad. So we start. And just anything that I have a goal to do, he helps find to do it. If I'm having pain in my body, he talks about and shows me how to manage it between appointments. We've done cupping. I've introduced him to my acupuncturist person. They've had conversations to figure out how to help me manage this pain to make life what it's supposed to be. And I am so, so very grateful to you. And that's a little bit about my story.
That is an amazing story. So it's just, I mean, I worked with a lot of strokes, and just, you know, seeing the time it takes from the paralysis to when you start trying to get some movement back, some feeling. How long were you paralyzed for before?
So everything was crunched over, arm balled in. It was like that probably for about 3 months. There was something, a little longer than that, because I know it took a while to get the hand back in my arm, and even for me to raise my arm, still a little challenging. I would say about 6 months, they used electrostim to open my hand. And it started with the trigger of the thumb, and then fingers were stuck together for a while until I was able to separate it. So it still feels a little odd. It looks normal to most people, and I try to fake like I am. But yeah.
So when you saw her, did she have a contracture? Did you have to work on that first?
She did.
And so what did you do for that?
So we did myofascial release on her. We did some scraping, anything I could do to get that, first of all, to get range of motion. And then secondly, it's repetition. Because the reality is, with stroke, it's all about repetition. You're basically building those neural pathways again. And it's like learning how to walk all over again. Yeah.
And how did you practice any meditation or any visualization of being able to use that side of your body again?
Absolutely.
Did you do neurofeedback or biofeedback?
Biofeedback I didn't do, but neurofeedback I did. Dean talked about, through meditation, visualizing some of the things that I used to do. I used to be a professional ballet dancer before scoliosis surgery. So I would, at night, take the time to remember what routines felt like, what it felt like to point my toe, to stretch, to reach, and just kind of reintroduce those things to my central nervous system, because I'm trying to take care of it. I wanted to know that I appreciated protecting me, but now I needed to let go so that we can be natural again.
And did you use any supplementation, or did you?
I had an AFO. I went from the wheelchair to a walker and AFO and cane. And then by Thanksgiving of that year of 2019, I wanted to have Thanksgiving dinner with nothing. And I was out of the AFO by Thanksgiving.
And what did you do for your overall health, like nutrition-wise? Were you doing supplements? Were you?
Yes, lion's mane for nerve and brain was the first thing.
Everyone know what lion's mane is?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms? Yeah.
I cut meat 50% of my diet. And then I closed one business, that's still painful, and just decided to have jazzercise to kind of slow down what I do, and then built my sleeping rest time.
So Dean, tell us a little more about what you did with her.
Lots and lots of balance drills, lots of physical therapy, range of motion work, lots of stretching. We even cried a few times together. You know, okay, maybe more than one. But the reality is her recovery. She works on this every single day, like every single minute. It's her whole world. Like it's her whole world to recover. The jazzercise is a huge part of her recovery. She has a support team of ladies that are there taking care of her, and she's taking care of her. And you know, she'll send me videos and say, "Look, I was able to do this, but it looked funny." And I'm sending her back like, "I didn't know it was supposed to look any different," you know. And so her whole life is about that.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the second time we've done this panel, and it's still, again, it's just the hope that you give patients and the patients have is a huge part of the healing process. And so maintaining that brain fitness and that emotional health is so important to overall healing. And I think that's something that's really lost in medicine in general. So I applaud you for that. And so, you know, and stroke is very hard to heal from. I mean, we're taught that neurons don't really regenerate, and you know, but you've shown that it can be done naturally. It can be done through release of fascia. It can be done through dealing with the emotional trauma of the stroke. So all of it goes together. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Is there a cause? What causes that other than stress? Is it hereditary or just boom, out of the blue?
I am the first one to have a stroke in my family. Blood pressure runs on my father's side. And the night of the jazzercise class, they're thinking that hot dog, we've never been to Wiener Schnitzel since, I didn't say that name in case it goes on social media. Wiener Central, do not sue me. And then the class that I taught that night took my blood pressure way up. When I got to the hospital, it was something like 245 over 195. Yeah, scary.
So do you have any ongoing limitations now?
Still little limitations with the arm that we're still working on. Hand feels like sandpaper. I'm still managing the balance. I still have the neuropathy. I don't have 100% filling in my foot. Dean has definitely helped improved my depth perception. I use jazzercise and I get the speaking opportunity to work through the aphasia. I'm always constantly working on the speech. It's gone from being slurred and somewhat delayed to me constantly thinking and speaking after I've thought.
I mean, I would never think. I mean, you sound totally. Did you have to do speech therapy?
Definitely. I was in speech therapy for over a year. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it worked.
Thank you.
Can I tell some of your stories?
Okay.
Just wanted to clear with her what we're. So first, I'm not sure if I mentioned her whole right side was paralyzed. Through all of this, Kenya's son now wants to become a doctor to help stroke patients. Yeah. Yeah, and it's amazing to watch you do what you do, because most people don't recover like this. And for everyone else, you can recover from stroke. You can fix drop foot. You can create grip in your hand again. You can lift your leg again. And I've done it many times. I worked with a neurotherapy group in La Jolla, I don't know, probably 12 years ago, because one of my friends, another friend, had a stroke and ended up at Cedars-Sinai. I was living in Del Mar, and they asked me to come work with the team there, and I went there on a train from Del Mar to Cedars. Sorry. 3 days a week. Yeah, so when they brought him home, this neuro team was amazing. I couldn't even believe it. I always knew the connection between the nervous system and exercising and moving and this and that, but once they showed me how you can actually create these neuro engrammings again, it changed my whole life on what I do, because now I know that this body is designed to heal itself, right? And I love you, Jason, but don't let any doctor tell you, right, that it's not, because the fact is, it is, right? I get people coming into my office who have a low back injury, and they've been dealing with it for years and years and years and years. They keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and then they finally come to me, and I ask them, so what happened? Well, I don't know, nothing happened. Well, nothing happened? Oh, wait a minute, I had an injury 2 decades ago, and now they can't turn their head to the right, because the fascia just tightens all of this up, creates more issues for you, and the point is, if you don't take care of your body like this, and I know you're hearing it from all of us, but you have to do some body work, and we have amazing practitioners here to help you. And I really appreciate all of you being here too and listening to our story.
Thank you.
And I want to echo what Dean said. We can heal. This can happen to anybody. And it's not just from stroke. You can heal from bone-on-bone shoulders. You can heal from your back pain. You can heal from an autoimmune disease. You can heal from a degenerative disease. You just have to create the right environment that allows your body to exhibit what it's naturally meant to do. How many of you have been frustrated with your doctors? I have. So I think one of the things that healthcare's philosophy, which I differ from the traditional healthcare, is that they focus on healthcare from the outside in. So they introduce drugs, they introduce surgeries, they introduce all these things from the outside in, but you have to heal from the inside out, right? And that means mind, body, and spirit. So if you guys can do all that, your body will heal. Your mind will heal, your soul will heal. So, thank you, you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me say one more thing. Go ahead.
First of all, Kenya, thank you for opening up and sharing your testimony. I can tell you're a strong woman, so I know you're being vulnerable with sharing your life, and we love that. We all, I'm sure everyone agrees that you're just amazing, and thank you for opening up to us. And my dad had a stroke years ago, so I know a lot what you've been through, and it's a tough thing to go through. But the voice that you heard, you said you heard a voice twice.
Twice.
Who do you think? What do you think that voice was? That you, or was that the Holy Spirit talking to you?
I think it was the Holy Spirit talking to me,
Preparing you for what was to
preparing me for what was to come. This has majorly, I used to say it upset my life, but it didn't upset my life. It's changed my life for the better.
Amen.
And I think it was that preparation to say something's going to happen, but
But
you
you'll
can,
be okay.
you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Let them know who your dad is.
Oh, my dad?
Let them know what your dad does.
You know, I also met Dean too because I heard all these testimonials, and I've had like hundreds of like massage and rolfing, and I've tried it all, so I'm like, I have to go try this guy.
Yeah.
And one session just blew my mind because like he just, like for me, I really know my body well. I've been worked on hundreds of times, and he's like right with you too. So like if you have any like back problems, knee problems, neck problems, this guy is awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
he
amazing.
really is. Like
Thank you.
way above anybody I ever worked with. So
Yeah, Dean, thank you for the work that you do. You're changing lives every day. And,
Thank you.
Kenya, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. It's just an amazing testimony to the human spirit and the ability to recover from something like this. So thank you.
Yep.